Yes, I said yes, you're watching LJTV. Monster Model Madness!
In the 1950s, Elvis was one of a small group of people like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, and even Buddy Holly that were on the vanguard of a revolution of music and popular culture. In the years between 1954 and 1960, the recordings and live performances of Elvis did nothing short of cementing his place in the history of popular culture. Even the string of dismal yet highly successful films that kept Elvis in the public eye for most of the 60s did absolutely nothing to tarnish the image of the king of rock and roll. But by 1968, Elvis had not appeared on stage anywhere in 7 years. Elvis was fed up with making movies, but he wanted to get back to what he did best, singing rock and roll live on stage. Presley's manager, the mighty Colonel Tom Parker, struck a deal to air a show simply entitled Elvis on NBC, December 3rd, 1968. And ever since that day, no one can deny that the 68 comeback special was one of the great television moments in the history of rock history. Which brings us to now. It's time for me to ask all you residents out there in TV land, why, for the love of God, are there not more Elvis garage kits out there? Think about it. Some of us may have actually been conceived while Elvis music was playing on the radio. It's the least we can do. I, for one, would like to have a few more super cool Elvis kits in my collection. Let's see now. NNT Productions put out an Elvis figure. There was a Wiki Zombie Elvis bust that I'm not sure who's responsible for that one. David Grant sculpted an evil thing released at quarter scale King of Rock and Roll that made its debut at Wonderfest 2007. After that, I don't think there's too much else. Sometimes, I think the only way I'm going to get a wicked Elvis kit on my shelf is to produce one myself. But until then, I just have to do what any hardcore resident head would do. I purchased the McFarlane Deluxe 1/6 scale 68 comeback Elvis action figure from my local dealer, took it home, removed it from his box, and began to repaint the prepaint. Yes sir, wop-bop-a-lula-ba-dop-bam-boom. I just grabbed the nearest rattle can of my trusty Krylon gray sandable primer and proceeded to bring that figure alive again with a paint job that would bring a tear to Colonel Tom Parker's eye. So without further delay, Monster Model Madness is very freaking proud to bring you the King of Rock and Roll. Thank you. Thank you very much.